So the last kind of loop that we are going to look at is called a while loop. And there is a variation of this called the do while loop. But we are not really going to look at this because mostly you are going to use while loops. In fact, you really never have to use a do while loop. There are certain conditions where it might be more convenient, but a while loop is really the one that I think you are going to use a lot more often. So a while loop is a very simple loop. It's actually more simple than a for loop, but it's not quite as powerful because you have to do a little bit more because you have to handle the increment or decrement yourself. So we could actually rewrite this parent method to use a while loop instead of a for loop. If you remember, when we created our for loop here, we looped basically starting at 0, and then every time we incremented our count until it was greater than copies or equal to copies. As long as it was less than copies, we continued to loop, not less copy that number of times. With a while loop, we can write this exact same code, except a while loop simply has a while statement, and then what's in parentheses is a Boolean condition, either true or false. And if it's true, it's going to continue to loop, and if it's false, it will end the loop. So we could actually do while true here, and then this would loop forever. It would create an infinite program. It would never end because there is no way to get out of this loop. But what we can do here instead is we can say while copies is less than or is greater than 0. Then let's print this out, and then we need to modify copies. So we are going to do copies minus minus. So what's going to happen here now is as long as copies is greater than 0, as long as the value ends to true, then it's going to continue to loop and it will print out our text. And then it will also subtract 1 from our copies. So if we put copies of 5 in here, it would come in 5 is greater than 0. It would print the text. It would set copies to 4. 4 is greater than 0. So on and so on until our copies hit 0. 0 isn't greater than 0, so then it will exit our loop. So let's go ahead and try this out and see how this would work. We will change this to print, and we will print, say, 4 copies. If I run this, you can see we have printed 4 times. If I change this to 1, you can see here it's just printed once. So while loop, again, a very simple loop, but you do have to be careful that you don't get into an infinite loop. And you just have to make sure that whatever conditional that you create here, that within your loop, you are changing that conditional so that it will eventually be met. You are changing the variable that make up that conditional.